Welcome back to Ame's Bookshelf. I am Teresa Garcia, or Amehana Arashi, and here at my bookshelf I tell you about books that I have been reading. A book that I read fairly recently and have been trying to get around to recording the review of is A Shadow Life by Leta McCurry. You can find this at your favorite bookstore. I gave it 5 stars out of 5 stars, and you will notice that I give quite a few books 5 stars. The reason being that even though I'm quite picky about what I read, there really have not been a whole lot of books that don't deserve 5 stars lately being brought to my attention. So again, this book got a 5-star rating, and I am going to put it at 13 plus. PG-13 is what I would say would be the age range of this book. Now, I found it very interesting as it had a structure that I don't see often in books and that I would like to see used more often. At first I thought it was only going to follow one character, Mattie Hawkins. I neglected to look at the table of contents as I wanted to be surprised by the storyline. I was therefore surprised and frustrated when her story suddenly seemed to be dropped. We had gone through so much with Mattie and her daughter, and I was left concerned for them. I understood later as to why the story seemed to be dropped, as the story is about more than one woman, and also about the threads that connects this person with others even before they ever meet. The story then moves to the precocious Ruby Jo, her yearnings and adventures and her driving impulses, scratch the itch and become a Hollywood starlet. This too was a wild ride, and it is difficult to get me truly caring about minute details of life in teenage drama, having gotten far more than my fill of drama in my own life. I hissed and wept silently, giggled, and many more actual physical sounds were made as I read her story. And then the story and the progeny were left. The previous story was then picked up again, and we followed young Lainey Bell and her mother, although her mother is soon removed from the story. Lainey is then left on her own and has to grow up further, even faster, in order to save herself. Thankfully, she makes friends and a new life along the way. We then have the 2 stories begin to draw together. I cried at Lainey having to disappear twice in this segment of the story. Part 4 again follows Lainey, now living the life of Mercy Grace French. With the inheritance left to her as Lainey securely transferred to her new identity, she rebuilds and starts into her own new life with zeal. Romance finds her, but things are not quite right and she is not safe. Harley has come into town and recognized her. She then turns around practically, and there is Mercy Grace's real mother. The story's title already fit well with the first introduction of Harley in the first part, but by this point I was reminded at how well it fit. Lainey, Mercy Grace, is in danger of losing absolutely everything. To top it all off, the real Mercy Grace's brother shows up looking for his little sister to meet her. I thought this was better than a spy novel. If you want intrigue but don't like spy stuff, you'll love this. If you already love spy stuff, you'll find this interesting. If you've wondered what people go through in witness protection, this touches a bit toward that, just before witness protection. I don't want to go into how she resolves her problem because I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but her brain amazed me. Readers should be advised that rape is dealt with, domestic violence and what would be considered underage intercourse today, but was not considered so in the time the book was set in. If those are trigger topics, then you're going to want to watch for cues that something is coming up so that you can skip ahead. Those cues are there. Some authors don't do that and will jump right in without so much as an, oh, something's going to be happening soon, build up. But this author did put those in, so do be watching for these, and they're very well done. Although you have a picture painted so that you know what is going on, it's also not really lurid. It is, in my opinion, a rather tasteful handling in fictional form of those things that domestic violence victims have to deal with daily. To me, the story's main drive was escaping and healing from these for Lainey Mercy Grace. It was also about healing and absolution, though, for Ruby Jo. If you need some help with similar issues, such as having abandoned a child, maybe this book will help out a bit with that. I would like to give this book an extra star for 6 out of 5 because of how well I felt the disturbing scenes were handled. You don't see that very often. So again, I do recommend this book, but again, PG-13, and if you have trigger issues, be watching for them. With that said, that is the end of this review. If you are enjoying my reviews, please do consider liking and subscribing, sharing the post. You can look me up on Patreon, because I do have a Patreon. Therefore, you can fund not only the different reviews that I post on here, but you can help fund different readings for different groups. You can help support my own personal writing. There is a lot that I do that your patronage helps to support and helps to keep going. So again, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next time.